Hey, family, and welcome back to my channel, A Woman's Heart Podcast, your go-to destination for exploring faith, inspiration, health, and personal growth. Today, we have a guest on the show who's going to demonstrate business resilience and bounce back ability, navigate multiple business failures that really landed him in a place that led him to help other businesses elevate. So get ready to be inspired and uplifted as we delve into meaningful conversations that will encourage your spirit, it will empower your heart, and it will uplift you. So stay tuned for this enlightening episode so you too can be blessed. Hi, and welcome back to Woman's Heart Podcast, where we explore faith, inspiration, health, and personal growth. I'm so excited you're joining me for another empowering message because today we have on the show Mr. J.L. Brumley. I want to say it right, Bumbrey, right?
Bumbrey, that's right. Most people, people murder my name all the time. They'll say Bumbley, Bumblebee, and I just
But Bumblebee, that's kind of cool. But Bumbrey, aka Anti-Guru. So JL is a man of faith, a husband, a father, a grandfather who has experienced numerous failures in the online business world before finding success through video content creation. So join us as he shares his journey, tips and strategies for leveraging power of YouTube advertising to grow your business and reach your target audience. So think of me as your chief encouragement officer, setting the stage to delve into the journey of JL as he gives his expert advice and actionable insights that can help small business owners like myself achieve marketing goals and elevate the business to a new heights. So welcome to the show, JL.
thank you so much, and I appreciate that. That was some kind words. I don't know if all that's true, but I appreciate it.
Oh, it's true. It's true. It's coming. They're coming for you. You got excellence coming on. I love it. So I'm looking forward to you sharing your journey and your expertise with us. So let's just jump right on in.
Okay.
I want to ask you, I would like for you to share from your heart who you are and what makes you get up in the morning.
Oh wow. Well, like you said, first of all, my entire experience in life is centered around my Christian faith. Serving God is the best part of my life. I haven't always been that guy. Part of my history was that, because none of us start out being saved, but I was excellent at sin. Some people said I was the devil's son. Not the Antichrist. I was the other son. But
Right.
I would not always been a great guy. I've spent time in jail. I've had addictions and all kinds of things. But during that time is when I had an encounter very similar. Now I don't liken myself to Paul, but it was similar in that respects that I had an encounter with God that was so profound. And I was actually in jail at the time, and I was just praying. And I said, Lord, if you get me out of this, I'll never go back. And it was like it was similar, not a flashing light, but it was a feeling that I just can't describe. And once that happened, I just dedicated myself to being a better person, and it's been an ongoing journey for the last, wow, that's been 30 years ago.
Wow. Well, congratulations for the transformation and sanctification process as you're becoming a better person. We all want to, move to a better place. And sounds like you had one of those light bulb moments with God and
Yeah,
decided
pretty
to
much.
proceed. Yeah, I love that. That's so good. So, well, with that said, too, can you share a little bit about your journey? Like, what led you to become the anti-guru? I mean, I know
Well,
you started out and you had some challenges, but share
yeah,
with us.
I started out like a lot of people, wanting. I always knew when I was coming up that I never liked working for someone else, because when you work for someone, there's no disrespect to people who have jobs, but
Right.
when you work a job, you're under a system of control. They tell you when to come to work, what to wear, all of these different things. The most important thing is they tell you how much you're going to get paid, and you have no control over that.
Right.
And I also had a problem working around stupid. And so I knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and
Mhm.
so I was working a part-time job, and a friend of mine approached me with this network marketing opportunity, and I jumped into it head first. And about 3 months into it, I got fired from my job. So I decided I was just going to go all in and just go full time because I believed in what I was doing. However, being brand new, I failed miserably. And so then I got into another network marketing opportunity, failed at that again. And like I shared with you, I've done blogging, e-commerce, drop shipping. I've done everything, affiliate marketing, because I believed I wanted to work for myself. You know, I
Right.
wanted to have that time freedom because when you work for yourself, you own your own business. The best part about it is having the freedom and the time to do what you want to do. And plus, you'll never wake up in the morning and fire yourself.
Right. Just get
So
going again.
yeah, I just kept going and kept going,
Mhm.
and so but video was always a component in those things. And I like I said, I call myself the king of failure because I just failed at everything. I sucked, but I just knew that this was something worthwhile. And
Mhm.
I got my education in internet marketing and advertising and all these different ventures. I followed a lot of different of the big time marketers, Gary Vanderchuk, Vic Stryceus, and just to name a few.
Mhm.
And but the term all these people, they call them the gurus. And the gurus, they will give you their secrets. Well, they will give them to you. You got to pay for them, and you
Right.
might pay 6, 10, 20 grand to learn their
Right.
secrets.
Mhm.
But over the years, I learned from these people. I followed their blogs and all any information I could get, the videos and everything. And I decided that I was gonna. The anti-guru came up from the idea that I'm gonna do the exact opposite of what the gurus do. I'm gonna give away more than I sell, kinda.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I did that because I had a lot of people who invested in me and taught me and trained me and didn't charge me anything. And then
Mhm.
as a Christian, there's a scripture that says, "Give, it shall be given unto you, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over." So I
Mhm.
decided, I would try to help people that were new, like I was, because I knew how much I appreciated that help. And when you first start out in any venture, no matter whether it's online or offline, money is a premium. You don't have a lot of money to waste. And some of these gurus, they have these courses and all of these programs, and a
Mhm.
lot of times you purchase all that stuff and you never really learn anything. I think you learn more from experience, but having someone that you can call, because I had one mentor, and he was my sponsor in one of these opportunities. Uh, I could pick up the phone and call him anytime, and I used to call him, 2 or 3 times a day. And I
Mhm.
was like, man, I really hate bothering you. He said, no, no, I want you to learn. I want you to succeed. But of
Mhm.
course, he was financially responsible because how network marketing goes. You get your upline and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
But it was more than just that. Because I just drained this guy, and I'll never forget. Uh, the best compliment he gave me. He said, I learned more in 6 months than most people learn in a couple of years, and that's because I was just eating up everything and just
Mhm.
really trying to, and execution. I think
Mhm.
that's where a lot of people, the failure comes in, where you will study, you'll do these things, and then you won't execute the plan. And
Right.
then they'll come back and they'll say, and I've had this happen with me, with people that were
Mhm.
under me. Well, this thing doesn't work. And I said, well, did you do the training? Did you read this? Did you read that? Well, no. I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? You know,
Right. Right.
and there's a level of accountability that you have to have for yourself. So, but
Mhm.
that's what I did. I was going to be completely accountable and take full responsibility for what I did. So whether I failed or I succeeded, it was all on me.
Right.
So that's kind
That's
of where
good.
the anti-guru came in, because I wanted to help others and,
Yes.
and sow into them, because I believe my success is tied directly to the people that I help and serve.
That's good. I like that. And I think too with the anti-guru now, you've gone through enough of them to say, you know what? I think I'm gonna take a different approach,
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
and be able to do that and then share that wealth of knowledge with other people to help them be successful. So that's your gift. That's your superpower.
My ex-wife, when I was married before, and she used to say, "You give away too much," and I said, "Baby, I can't give away enough." I said, "All of this information is out here,
Right.
but some people don't want to take the time." So
Mhm.
I've taken, because I started in 2013. I've been doing this for 11 years now.
Right.
So I built 11 years worth of knowledge, And so that I help people fast track their success, because when you start out, we all have this pipe dream that we're going to make hundreds of thousands or millions or whatever. Well, that normally doesn't happen, but if you can get to the place where your business at least pays for itself, then you can justify having it.
Exactly. I like that. That's good. That's a good approach. I love that. So can you walk us through that moment? Because there's a moment that you decided to go all in into network marketing after being fired from your job. What were you going through? What was going through in your mind? I mean, how did
Well,
you
you know,
get to?
I, well, I'll tell you, I was working for GNC,
Mhm,
and they have commission base, and I'll
mhm,
never forget. One day, I went to work, and I sold $1,800 worth of product.
mhm,
And like I say, you get commission on certain products, and a lot of things but I want you to do $1,800 I sold, and my commission for all of those sales was $34. And I
right.
was like, really, $34? You know, and
All the
and
work you did.
yeah,
Okay.
and the GNC that I started working at in the district, they were 28 out of 28, and within a year we had gone from 28 to number one. And I believe
Mhm,
that I was a big part of that, because at
right,
that
right.
time I was in the fitness business. I was a personal trainer and a
Mhm,
health consultant, and I care about people. That's always been the thing. I really care about people,
right.
and so I believe that's why I'm able to be a good salesperson, because I listen and I give people what they need, and not just try to make a sale. And I built
Right.
personal relationships with people. But anyway, you know,
Mhm,
$34 for 1,800. My skills and abilities are making this company rich, and I'm not even getting compensated. If they had given me 10%, I might have, because that would have been $180. I could have said, okay,
at that point, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And
Mhm,
that experience and all that I did in that year, and then to get fired, because what happened, I got a tooth infection,
mhm.
and I ended up having to get surgery. It was so bad. It went into my jaw, and it was starting to go up the side of my head. I don't think you can see the scar, but there's a scar over here.
Mhm,
I
mhm,
nearly died.
right.
And I'll never forget when the doctor said, okay, you got to stay out of work at least, 4 to 6 weeks. Because when this happened, I couldn't even open my mouth after they did the surgery. I was drinking, liquids. I lost
Mhm,
30 pounds. I looked like I was a cancer victim or something like that.
mm,
And I know after about 3 weeks, my manager started calling me. She's like, "When you coming back to work? When you coming back to work?" And I said, I need to stay out at least a month. The doctor said 6 weeks. So I felt that if I didn't go back to work, that they were going
mhm,
to let me go.
right.
And so I went back to work, and I never forget that day. Uh, I brought my food for the day, but I was supposed to open. And then my manager called that day and said, "Hey, well, can you close the store?" So I was there from 10 o'clock that morning till 10 o'clock that night. Now, mind you, I've lost 30 pounds. I didn't bring enough food. I'm extremely fatigued.
Mhm,
Closed the store, did everything, but I forgot my water. So I went back in the store, got
mhm.
my water bottle, and forgot to lock the door.
It can
So,
happen.
yeah, so because I was just worn out. And
Right.
I went home, and I was supposed to open that morning. The next
Mhm,
morning, I didn't even wake up, and my manager called me about 11:30. I finally answered the phone. She's like, "Are you okay? What's wrong?" And I said, "Oh,
mm,
I'm sorry. You were supposed to open the store." I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I just overslept." She said, "We got another problem." And she
mm,
said the door was unlocked. Well, anyway, when
mm.
I got there, the police were there, because someone came in and noticed, there's nobody there.
At that point, yeah.
Yeah, and so the police are there, and then loss prevention, of course, got involved. Now,
Mhm,
nothing was stolen, because
right.
I went through and counted everything.
Mhm,
Nothing
mhm,
was gone in the store. They let me work another week,
mhm,
and that was so they could find somebody to replace me. And then the district manager came in, took me in the back, and then he asked me, "Well, what happened?" I'm like, "You know what happened?" And I said, the story I just told."
right.
He said, "Well, we went to bat for you because you're a good employee, yada, 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 but I'm going to have to let you go."
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And that hurt,
Yeah.
because I had sacrificed myself and came in there and done all these things. And like I said, all those things together made me realize that, and again, I'm not bashing people who work a job, but a lot of times you're making companies rich with your talents and abilities, and you'll never be compensated, for what it is that you bring to the table. And with all of those things, I said, I'm going all in. I'm going to build this company and I'm gonna make millions and drive a Lambo and all these things that the pipe dream that they sell in network marketing. And of course, it never happened. But
They do dangle a carrot in front of you.
well, I mean,
You
in
know,
network marketing, it's two ways they get people. They either
right.
celebrate them by putting them up on stage,
Yes.
or you know, they give you this pipe dream. And it
Mhm.
is possible because network marketers are the highest earning online workers. They make more money than anyone
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
But
But that's not the norm. That's
exactly,
not the norm. That yeah,
exactly.
there's a percentage. There's a
Yeah.
percentage.
These big time marketers, they make, because I never forget when I was with this company, which is no longer in business.
Hmm.
Um, One of the guys, his name was, oh, I can't remember his name, but
Hmm.
we were on one of those calls. You have a group call and everybody's on the call, and of
Voila.
course they're promoting the opportunity. And this guy, the one of the head presidents, he's like, so and so, you just made $80,000, and he's sitting there. We're in a video call, and it was so inspiring because he made 80 grand in an hour, and he's like, he's jumping around, and his wife's
I
like,
bet.
what's wrong? We just made $80,000, and I'm like, man, that could happen for me, because you
Right,
believe,
right,
but it
right.
doesn't, because this guy, he was an engineer, so he had the money to invest in everything he needed, advertising, the whole nine. And I had lost my job. And it was right at tax time, so I was living off my tax return and trying to
Wow.
make this business work,
Mm,
and I failed. And of
right.
course, it was part of what ended my marriage as well, because some you're not making money, your wife's not going to be happy. But there were other things as well.
That's another podcast.
Yeah, that's another podcast. We won't
Yeah,
even go
yeah.
in there.
But
We won't even
but
go.
you describe yourself as the king of failure. So after experiencing all your setbacks in your various online ventures, how did you stay motivated and continue to try new things despite those failures?
Well, I tell you, I had a lot of good friends who called me because after several of these failures, and I remember this happened in, I think it was 2014.
Mhm.
I was just grinding and grinding, and I grinded myself down to a nub, and I just broke down. And I'll never forget, I had a nervous breakdown, and I did not speak or eat or anything for 7 days.
Mm.
I,
Mhm.
I closed my computer. I was sitting in a dark room because I'm like, I can't believe that I put all this time and effort and nothing's happening. And then being a believer, I'm like, Lord, what's the problem? Is it because it can't be the Most High? It's got to be me,
Right.
And I'm doubting myself and everything. But I had people call and check on me, and they just kept speaking life into me. You
Mhm.
know, God's going to do this, God's going to do that. And I remember telling one friend, I said, you know what? I don't even have faith in that, but I'm going to believe in your faith.
Right. Right.
And as time grew on, I just kind of snapped out of it because I was like, I can't live this way. I can't do this as be nothing, because there's something inside of me. I remember my grandmother told me that I've been in 5 car accidents. I should be dead.
Right. Wow.
And she said to me before she passed away, she said, God's got something special for you because the devil keeps trying to kill you. And I remembered her saying that. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, my grandmother wouldn't have said that if it wasn't true.
Right.
And
Wow.
that encouragement and other people, they lifted me back up. And I just didn't want to live a life of mediocrity. I wanted to be able, because see, my definition of success is the beneficial footprint that I leave on society. How many
Mm-hmm.
lives have I changed? How many people have I helped? It's
Right.
not about money and
Mm-hmm.
cars and all this. Those things are markers. And I can tell people, if you think that wealth, the acquisition of wealth should never be the driving force in your life, because you will never be satisfied.
Right. You will always want more. I call
Yeah,
it the
no matter what. No
the
matter what.
more syndrome. It's just like I need more. I need more. Oh, we got there. So what else can we do? You never
Yeah,
stop.
because that same gentleman I was talking about earlier who made $80,000, I was reading his blog, and perfect example, he said he achieved everything, the mansion, the trips, everything. He was unfulfilled. So what he started doing, he went over to Africa and started spending his money building wells, schools, helping people. And he said
Right.
that was more fulfilling than all of the money that he made, you know. And I
Mm.
believe that. So I tell people, don't, if money is your focus, you will fail. because you'll never have enough.
Right. You'll always be chasing the wind. That's
Yeah.
what that is, chasing the wind. So what's the turning point for you when you decided to focus on this video content, creating YouTube advertising? How did that like shift, impact your mindset and approach to your business? Because
Well,
things can be shifted along the way.
yeah, well, in 2015 is when Google bought YouTube, and
Hmm.
they started doing the video advertising, and I kind of delved into it. And like I said, through all of my online career, video has always been a component. I've always made videos, whether they were for business or even personal.
Hmm.
When this advertising thing came up, um, I just started delving into it and using it in my own business. And then when COVID came around, I lost all my customers. I had to start from zero.
Yeah.
And I decided that I remember, I can't remember who it was, but one of the people I followed said a lot of times people fail is because, you hear this jack of all trades, master of none, and they got all these irons in the fire.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
focus on one thing only, and become an expert, and you will become successful. Because there are people who always want knowledge.
Yeah.
That's one of the best things about YouTube. There's two reasons why people come on YouTube is to be entertained or educated. So it's a perfect venue for businesses and for anything. Because if
Mhm.
you're an entertainer of any, you need to be on YouTube. If you want,
Right.
and if you have a business, like what you do, where you're empowering women, it's a perfect platform because people want to learn what you have to offer. You know,
And bringing experts like you on the show, they learn from you, learn from
exactly.
others who come on the show.
And let's cut. And in today's world, 90% of all content is consumed in video form.
Hmm.
you know. So
Good.
I've just kind of caught the trend right at the beginning, and I just saw it going in that direction. So I said, let me focus on this and learn how to do this advertising. And YouTube advertising is so inexpensive compared to the other platforms. And it's not to bash Facebook or anybody else, but you can spend $100 a day on Facebook, and people say all the time it's not effective.
Right, right. You don't get anything from it. So what lessons have you learned through that process where now you've kind of pivoted, you went through the COVID era. What lessons did you learn within that time frame,
Well,
JL?
one thing I learned to be humble and not think
Mhm.
that, because no business is COVID proof. It's all
Mm,
dependent on, your customers are your lifeblood.
right.
And with YouTube, I have virtually the whole world. But
Mhm.
even inside of that, I've learned how to target my audience depending upon what it is I'm promoting. And I take that knowledge, and when I consult with other businesses, that's one of the things I ask. Who is your target market? If you don't know, because some people, well, I want to sell to everybody. Well, you sell to everyone, you sell to no one.
Right.
There's
That's
a
true. You got to
specific,
niche down. You got
yeah,
to niche down.
yeah.
Yeah.
You got to niche down and get a specific group, whether it's women from 35 to 40,
Mhm.
or children, or whatever it is, depending upon what you're promoting.
Mhm.
And so those are some of the best lessons that I learned during that period, because I had all this downtime and I actually had to rebuild. I just built a new business because I was actually doing like internet marketing
Mhm.
consulting, and I just threw that away and said I'm going to focus on advertising, because there's a difference between marketing and advertising. Some people think it's the same. Advertising gets people's attention. Marketing is what sells.
That's good. That's good to know too, and to be able to put that differentiator in place and say, this is one thing, that's the other.
Yeah,
What are you
definitely.
going for?
Yeah,
Right.
because people get it confused. They
Yeah.
think that they're the same and they're not.
Mhm.
And that's why some people don't want to spend money on advertising, but they're trying to market, but nobody's looking at what you're talking about.
You're
So
not putting it out. Yeah, the way that they want to see it or the way that is resonating with folks. So how
uh,
did you approach the consulting with business owners though to help them get customers through YouTube advertising? How do you reach your customers? I guess that's the ultimate
well,
question.
I don't really do a lot of advertising on YouTube right now. A lot of what I do is organic, where I like how we met on Alignable. I'm active in the groups, and I do what I answer questions. I look in the groups and I'm looking for questions that I can answer, and so
Right.
I'm contributing, and I'm making myself known as an expert in this area. And I've had more success doing that because People get their questions answered. I remember just a couple of days ago, a lady was we would I told her, she was talking about marketing. I said, had you ever considered video marketing? And I
Right.
told her about all the stats about some of the stuff I just said, and I
Right.
just and even in some of those groups, the people, hey, let me consult with you. I don't even do that. I always
Right.
say, if you'd like some more information, if you want to talk about it some more, just
Mhm.
connect with me. And that's
Right.
been the most successful way. People connect, we have a conversation just like you and I did, and I get more clients that way because I don't want to hard sell people. I'm not even I
Right.
don't even pitch. When
But
I
I've heard it said this way, JL, and it's funny. Don't pitch slap people, right? Every
exactly
time you meet somebody, you pitching your business in their face, and no one wants that. No one
yeah,
wants to be
I'm
sold.
not gonna slap them in the face like this.
Right. Right.
I'm not gonna wait a minute. Where's my slap at?
Right.
I'm not gonna slap them. You
Yeah, we
know
don't want that. I mean, I'm telling you, I don't want that as a business owner. And I know you mentioned alignable, and sometimes I'll get like a DM directly to me
hmm
asking me or trying to sell me something. I'm like, well, I don't even know you. You got
exactly
to date somebody before you want to marry them. You got to
exactly.
cultivate a relationship.
Yes,
So
business
you
is
just
about
yeah,
relationship, whether it's
yes, it is.
business to business or business to customer. You
Yeah,
know, just like when I was in, like I say, when I worked for GNC, my customers, I knew them personally. There was one guy, we talked about his sons, they were football players. He shared all of his personal life. And I remember one time he told me, he said, there's a GNC about 3 miles from where I live, but I drive all the way over here because I want to talk to you.
customer
Because
service.
I care about what's going on with him. And that's the
Right.
same thing. These people, they DM you, and sometimes they don't even look at your profile. I'm gonna ask you, well, what do? You didn't even look at my profile.
They want something immediately, and that's where I'm like, well, I don't know if I really want to do business with you, even partner with you, because
Yeah,
it's
I
all
don't.
about the take instead
I
of
don't.
what can you give.
I don't. I don't. When
Mhm.
somebody pitches me and they haven't, and like I say, I ask the question I always ask is when people reach out to me, what inspired you to reach out to me? That's an
I,
icebreaker.
you did that to me.
Yeah,
I remember I
yeah.
was like, why you asked me that question?
Yeah, well, that's to
Like,
get to
well,
get some dialogue going because I want to
right,
know
right,
what you're thinking.
right,
Because if
right,
you're
right.
trying to pitch me, then that's what they're gonna do. Because the guy did
Mhm.
it. I said, well, I got this great opportunity and I want to share it with you.
Right.
I don't even know you, dude.
It's like, but I see what you do, and I think we could work together. Yes. So I think that type of reaching out to folks doesn't work for me, right? And I don't do that to other people. If I'm looking, I want to know what you do, and I want to know more about what you do. So how can I help you? Because it's the law of reciprocity. A lot of times,
That's
it's
it.
helping. How can I help you? It may or may not come back to me, but that's not what the goal is. The goal is how can I help you build yours so
Exactly.
that you're in front of customers, and you never know how that's going to transpire back over into the law of reciprocity.
Exactly. That's what I do. I mean, like I said, I get more customers that way because they come back. I remember one lady, we talked, and it was 3 months later, and then she hit me up and she said, I'd like to get some more information. And
Yeah, and I
those are the
think
best
that's how that
customers.
works. You sharing information, they may not be able to work with you at that particular time,
Hmm.
but when the time comes and they do have the extra funds or the funds they want to invest in that type of product or service, they'll do it. They'll
Yeah.
remember you. Yeah. Yeah. So I love that. So what are some of the common misconceptions or pitfalls when you help that you help people to avoid? What are some things that just one maybe one or two
Well,
pitfalls?
as far as with video marketing, they expect a quick return.
Mm,
And I tell people, whether you're trying to build a channel or a business, it's not.
Priority one message from Starfleet coming in on secured
Okay,
channel.
I
that's
had
your other gig, right? That's your other gig.
a priority one message from Starfleet. I mean, I'm a big Star Trek fan, but
Oh my God.
YouTube is a marathon, and building a business is a marathon. If you expect quick, even when I do an advertising campaign for
Hmm.
someone, it takes me 90 days to
Right.
fully optimize that campaign so that it will
There you
produce
go.
results.
That's good time. That's 90 days. Yeah.
And I tell people that, and I say, now in the first 30 days I'm going to get traffic, because that's basically what I do. I drive traffic to your website, your offer, whatever it is, through the power of video advertising. Well, there'll be traffic coming, but it has to be optimized and has to be refined
Mhm.
so that we narrow it down to the target market. And that's the great thing with YouTube now, with the advent of AI, it's even more precise and it's much more cost effective. And just to give an example, I ran an ad for a product, a affiliate product I was promoting. I ran that ad for 6 months, but in the first 30 days, I only spent $5.61, and I got like, I think it was 200 or 300 people hit that page, and I made 2 or 3 sales, and it was $100 product. So I made $300 in 30 days and only spent $5.
That's return on investment. I love
Now,
that.
now over the 6 months, I think I spent about 300. But if
Mhm.
you average that out, that's $50 a month, and I
Right.
still made all of my money in the first month.
Mhm. Mhm.
And of course, but it was because the product was $100.
Right.
But whether
Right.
it's $100 or $500 or $20, you got to give it 90 days. The other misconception is that people want to run their ad 24 hours. Don't do that. Now the benefit of YouTube is when you run your ad, they have to watch a certain percentage before you actually pay for it, because you see these videos where you can skip, and
Right.
that's the benefit of that skip, is it helps. If they don't even watch 5 seconds, they're not a customer. Now they
Right.
have to watch at least 30 seconds for you to be charged.
Mhm.
You'll get charged if they watch 30 seconds or more. But
Mhm.
like I tell people, if they're watching at least 30 seconds of your 1 minute video, you
Mhm.
get your message out in those first 30 seconds, and then they're going to take action or they're not going to take action.
Mhm.
You know, but like I said, some people, they just expect that every time that video plays, somebody's going to click that link, and it just doesn't happen like that. That's with all of advertising. Even with television. We watch commercials on TV. We watch them all the time, and sometimes we never take action. And one day I'm like, the food ones are the best, because if you're hungry, oh, I got to go get that. I got to go get,
Right.
you know.
Exactly. They keep running that same advertisement over and over
Yeah.
again.
But
Psychological
those are
thing.
some of the common misconceptions with the advertising, that they're going to get a huge number of people,
Mhm.
and they're going to make a bunch of sales, and it's going to happen quickly. And like I say, whether and the same thing if you're building a channel.
Right.
Um, you're not, the goal is to get 1,000 subscribers. Well, the truth is, you don't have to have 1,000 subscribers to monetize your channel. That's one way. There are so many other ways to monetize it, and it's the content. And
The
another
prompt.
piece of advice: when you're creating video ads,
Mhm.
the sweet spot is 30 seconds to 1 minute.
Right.
But remember, you gotta hook them in 5 seconds. So whatever you say has got to be dramatic. It's got to stop them in their tracks. And it's
Yeah.
just like
You
back
hit
in the
one.
day when they had the National Enquirer, and
Mhm.
Sasquatch has alien baby, that kind of thing. You're gonna stop and look at that.
And you're like, well, what? What's going on? I want to read more about that. Right. Yes, I get
Exactly.
it. It's
So
the
those
hook.
are the things, and a lot of times people don't take enough thought into the hook. You have, and it's like reverse engineering. What does your product do uh, for them? Because if
Right.
it doesn't make their life better, then they're not going to be interested. And the best businesses are the businesses that solve people's problems.
Solve the problem. Yep. That's the key right there. So with that, believing that your success is tied to others and sharing your knowledge to consult with business owners, what advice would you give someone who may be in need of your services?
Well, first of all, I would say, hey, you know, give me a connect with me. You can either connect with me on Facebook and message me there,
Mhm.
or my YouTube channel, JL the Anti Guru. You can comment there, and I'll reach out to you. Currently, my website is down right now,
Mhm.
but I do have. You can also. I can send you a link, and we can have. I give a free consultation for an hour, and we
Mhm.
sit down and talk about what it is you want to achieve. But I tell people, before you do that,
Mhm.
make sure that you're clear on who you're trying to target
Mhm.
and exactly what your product or service is doing.
Right.
and don't try to say I'm going to get out to the masses. You know, the number one thing is to definitely know who you're wanting to sell to, and then after that conversation, we can sit down and talk about, whether you want to do something. And I always, when inside that consultation, I'll give you everything you need to get
Right.
started.
Right.
Whether you work with me or not.
Hmm.
Uh, I have at times offered to even set up the campaign for them for a small fee, and then if they want to run it and optimize it themselves, they can.
Right. Right.
I
And
just
that's
want to see people
ways.
succeed,
Mhm.
because there are lots of consultants out here who charge a bunch of money and they don't really do what they claim they're going to do. And like before, it's reciprocity. Give and it shall be given. If I
Right.
set you up right and you see some success, you'll come back or you'll refer somebody.
Yeah, I mean that's also a benefit of people referring. So with that said, could you share your information with the audience just in case someone would like to reach out to you and further the
Definitely.
conversation?
Let me pull that up right quick. Now I use tracking links, so it's going to
Hmm.
all be in Bitly. But if they want to schedule a discovery call,
Hmm.
um, it's bit.ly/ anti-guru not slash but dash call. That's
Hmm.
bit.ly/ anti-guru dash call.
Hmm.
Um, if I can get my website up and running in a couple of days, the website address is, where is it? Oh, it's also bit.ly/ anti dash guru dash website. And
Awesome.
again, if you want to reach out to me on Facebook, my profile is JL Bumbrey. My channel is JL the Anti Guru. You can always go on there and leave a comment or something. And those are the ways to get in touch with me. I don't do Instagram and all these other ones. I don't want to learn any more platforms. Somebody said to me, "Well, you need to be on TikTok. You need to." No, I'm going to focus on these. This is it,
Yeah.
because that's Facebook is the number one social media platform.
Hmm.
YouTube is the number two search engine,
Hmm.
and it really still is the number one video platform. I got the top dogs. I don't need to do anything else.
Right, right. So and you got to know that because you'll be running all over the place again,
Yeah.
flapping in the wind. You sometimes just got to get on point and just run with that one thing or the two
One
things.
more thing I want to share about video
Hmm.
with people. Uh, whether you don't have to make video for each platform. What I do is I shoot my videos and then I repurpose them.
Right.
We did. I did live. Went live on Facebook. Then I uploaded to YouTube, and then I spread it out across the other platforms. Well, it was alignable, and I think Pinterest is another one I use,
Right.
and that's it. But you can repurpose that. Don't think that you have to make new videos for each platform. You know,
Right.
and remember that your content is more important than anything else. All of this flashy stuff, and
Mhm.
I got a lot of props and stuff. I got my little light back here. I got little soundboard deafening, not soundboard, but the milk crate stuff, whatever that stuff is.
Right,
I got
right,
that.
right.
I tell people just start. You can start with your phone. You don't have to have a lot of equipment.
I love that. That's such great advice, JL, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and expertise. And so, with that said, you're a man of faith, a business owner, and educator. So, what's next for JL?
Well, my wife and I, we're moving into farming. That was another thing that happened in COVID.
Mhm.
I started gardening and I've turned my backyard into a field. So this year we're trying to make it an actual farm where it's going to produce enough where we're going to sell. So we're moving in that focus. I make continue to do the YouTube thing, but it's probably going to becoming a side hustle of sorts and not my main thing, because I feel that God wants me to produce quality food. We're in a food crisis and the quality of food is so bad.
Mhm.
And my wife and I, we really want to make sure that people eat well,
Mhm.
because food is the best medicine.
That's true. That is true. That's a good, and that's another podcast too. And I think but we have a podcast out there about how food is the medicine. But I love that. So it's been a pleasure, JL, having you on
Yes,
the show
ma'am.
today. I want to thank you for taking the time to share your wisdom and expertise with us. because you are truly inspiring and empowering and impacting the business world around you. So thank you for the work that you do. It's very well needed. And thanks for being the anti-guru. Thank you.
Okay, you are so welcome. Thank you for having me. I had a great time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So as we wrap up, if you've enjoyed your time with us, and I want you to remember, share, and subscribe to the podcast. If you need to contact us, you can reach us at voemetoday@gmail.com. If you want to learn more about the services and resources that Voices of Encouragement offers to women in the industry or even in the workforce or personal professional development, I want you to reach to us on voicesoфencouragement.com, as we are always empowering minds and transforming lives. So remember, be bold, be true, be kind, be you. And until we meet again, Ephesians 4:1, walk worthy of the call for which you were called.